I want to talk about why society has become very dangerous for men. I know a lot of guys that grow up and they tend to think that life is comfortable to a certain point. So they reach a certain age and they realize that majority of the people that they have around them are mainly a bunch of women. Now, the reason why I say that is because when you look around, it is the norm to see a boy with his mom, but not normal to see most boys with their dads. And it's a reason for that. When you look at the pivotal role that dads play in a child's life, it's very minimal. And it's not on purpose for the dads. Like the dad is not doing it on purpose. It's set up that way through the system and the courts. And women, a lot of times, that's the way that they end up getting their just due, a being in charge. Because one thing about life, when it comes to raising kids, women love to be in charge. But at the same time, we already know that when men are more dominant and they put in that position, they're going to lead with dominance. So in order to cripple a man from having his dominance, is to put other rules and other things in place to minimize him by taking his funds, his resources, throwing him in jail when he doesn't follow suit. That's, depending on what kind of situation he's put in, off of allegations or anything, it make men kind of like fall back and say, look, I'm gonna be less of, because I don't feel as strong. Because now we in a time now where as though everything is pushed out to make men feel as though, well, you as a man, you should act this way. When we know that's not right. That's not right. It's not even possible. When you lead with anything and you talking about men and you say how men are the reason for everything, that men should know better. When a woman and a man gets drunk, the man is more accountable. We are definitely at a point now where as though society is showing you through the court systems and everything of what's going on. Men are being railroaded. So when I say that men are in a dangerous place today, I'm gonna tell you how. We're put in a dangerous place because anything that you do right now that justifies you protecting yourself, you're looked at as criminal. If a woman loses her cool on you and she starts screaming at you, you just have to take it. Now, mind you, that's one thing, you're just taking it. Whereas though two men get in an argument of disrespect, a fight can end up occurring. Now, the thing is that makes it really messed up is, now you take that same situation going from an argument with a female, and then all of a sudden she starts to put hands on you. Now, a man's nature cannot be disrespected that way. Men are not built that way to take that type of disrespect. Chaos end up happening when you start hitting a man. Now, when I say that, people start to bat their eyes like, wait a minute, like, okay, like a man is a man, and that's the problem. A man is a man. A man is not a man that just turns his back on everything and don't hold people accountable. The problem is today is a woman can smack a guy. When she end up getting popped back, all of a sudden reality sets in. Oh, damn. I had no business hitting him. But what tends to happen? Everybody around is like, yo, man, that's crazy. She a woman. You know why that is? Because think about who's being raised. When men are being raised by majority women, your aunt, your mom, your grandma, all these people around you are majority women. So the men that are around are normally manipulated by women, because women do use manipulating tactics. I done dealt with it when it came to my mom. If I don't do something, all of a sudden she says something that's that goes sideways, and it's like, what? Like, you sitting there sometimes like, yo, how you gonna say that? And then they say, well, I just thought that you could do that just because. It's always something thrown in to make you start to feel that your feelings is feeling like you're not moving at their rate, like you're doing them wrong. And I realized this younger, but then as I became a man in my mid 20s, I started to see why men started to move away, like get away from the women. And you start to understand that because you start noticing the tactics and the mind games that's being played with you. Like, look, not even talking about girlfriends. I'm just talking about right now, just from that household, just my parent. And I remember the tactics that are used and the things that are just said that will belittle, like your father. You know, you don't know everything that goes on in the background. All we know is what's told to us. So you tend to have a lot of boys growing up, and they like, yo, my dad ain't ish. Like he didn't do the things they were supposed to do. So we're kind of looking at it through our mom's eyes, not realizing it's another story to this. And I even seen some guys even say to themselves, like I don't care. My mom held it down, this and that. My dad, he still wasn't there. And she did this, she did that. You know what's sad about that? A man like that normally don't realize till he in his damn 30s. When he realized, oh shit, I get it. I now see, after I talked to my pop, what was going on. And that's what happened with me. And I know a lot of men out here that deals with that. What tends to happen is a lot of things we don't know that goes on out here as a child. So when you're growing up, you tend to kind of look at your parent or parents in a different light. You'll look at like your dad. If he's not there, you'll look at him a certain way. Like, damn, he fouled, he wasn't there. But what happens is you don't even know that your mom was that girl that was fast. She was that girl that we call today little thoughts and stuff like that. Like, we got terms today, but back then they called them a different name. Called them an HOE, and we call them different names. You know what I mean? Not we, but back then they called them different names and whatnot, and they went by certain standards. This is one of the reasons why you're finding out now that the older generation had a lot of babies on the dads, and dads probably died that we know of. A lot of dads done passed away thinking that a child was theirs and it wasn't. I remember the days of when my grandpa used to bounce. Like, he used to leave, and when my grandpa used to leave, he'd come back home. Like, I remember him doing certain stuff, and my grandpa was out here moving. And I was like, my grandpa was wild. At that time, for some odd reason, my grandpa was still having fun. He was paying to play. And I remember when he finally retired. I don't quite remember when he retired, but I remember when he used to be home. And it used to be this Jean that'd come over to his house. And I noticed she only would come over when her dude was going. And now, mind you, I never put two and two together because I'm a young boy. And so I'm not really thinking about these things. I'm just looking at it as it is what it is. But as the weeks and months, next thing you know, I'm like, damn, she always over. Like, now, she done got so comfortable. She'll say, hey, Mr. She'll say my grandpa's first name, call him Mr. But then one day, I called myself being sneaky. I did it on purpose. I walked in the house, and the door was shut. And I hurried up and walked in the room like I played dumb. And she was giving my grandpa toppy. Oh, man. So I knew right then and there, yo, this woman wild, yo. And she was younger. But at the same time, and then the crazy thing is she was thick too. Like, she was shapely. My grandpa loved, he loved to play, but at the same time, and look, my grandpa would never let a woman live with him. And he passed away, I believe, 76 years old he passed away. 76 or 78. I know it was one of them, something like that. And my grandpa, man, him was like this. So I was with him a lot. But growing up with all women, and also getting the chance to be around my grandpa like that, yo, I'm going to tell you something. That was a blessing in disguise. None of that was ever a negative. Only time when it was a negative, that's when my grandpa threw a brick at me. I did something. I tried to be disrespectful to my grandpa. So don't think, yo, he should have never threw a brick at me. Hey, I'm going to tell you right now. I thought because my grandpa was older, I could disrespect him because nobody was around. So I looked at him as, yo, he in his 70s. He ain't doing nothing. Or should I say he was probably, at that time, he might have been in his 60s. But this is the weird thing. My grandpa lived all the way to 70, 76, 78. Always walked. Never was in a wheelchair any day. Always walked. Damn, I miss him, man. Damn. But it made me start to understand things a little different, because when I seen how my grandpa moved and operated, I got a chance. I got a chance to see him in a different light. And I got a chance to understand how men actually move out here. Not to say that all move, but I got a chance to see a man that has his own place. He makes his own rules. And let's be real. Let's be honest. There's certain things we can't say in the world that we can really say that some people got different experiences, that some don't. And I happen to have an experience whereas though I was able to stay with my grandpa for a certain amount of time. So I was able to be around a man's man. Always straightforward, didn't hold nothing back. If he liked something, he'd be like, woo, that girl got a nice one right there. But even though at this time, like this stage in life that we in right now, it'd be called a Me Too. You know, because I remember going to school and they used to call my grandpa, one girl called my grandpa a perv. Now, I'm going to keep it real. I want to smack the dog crap out of her. But as you start to get older, you start to understand, yo, my grandpa was a little wild. But he come from the South. He wasn't taking nothing. One day I learned about my grandpa. He wasn't taking anything. He wasn't forceful. He wasn't doing nothing. He just spoke his mind. If he sees something walk past, he says it. Like whatever he thought, he said it. I loved him, you know. But you get a chance to see how men actually move. Like they literally spoke their mind. So you knew up front how they felt. No ifs, ands, or buts. If you felt wrong about it or what. But I can tell you this. When you look at how women treated men back then, you understood that women actually looked at men different. They knew to respect them. Even if you did disrespect the man, you didn't see a lot of women doing it to their face because they knew it was repercussions behind that. So when you look at how we moving today, you kind of understand why it kind of reversed. Government then got involved and now they done crippled the man. Peace, be love, sharpen up.